everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Up Simulation. Last time we were testing the dual yokes and the dual rudder system. Today we are gonna test the throttle quadrant, fully motorized throttle quadrant from Cockpit for You. Let's go. Okay, so for the purpose of testing my throttle, I put it next to my computer because we can then test directly with the simulator. Sorry about the little bit of mess and the space. This is just for testing purposes. So, very first things to do, very simple. Obviously, connect the power to normal, obviously, wall outlet, and then connect the. There is an Ethernet cable here, an Ethernet where you put a cable and then you connect to your hub. It's important that this is connected to the same hub where your main computer is connected. Okay, the first things to do is actually go to the Cockpit for You website. You can just Google and find that, and there are two files you need to download. The first one is under instruction. You need to download this instruction PDF, which I have open here already for you, and follow this step by step. If this manual was not there, I don't think I will ever be able to connect everything. So the easiest way is for you to follow this. It is quite long, quite 20 pages, but a lot of pictures, so it's very easy to follow through. Okay, so the two things I was telling you to download, obviously the instruction. Another one is, as here before getting started, is to download the zip file for the driver. Now you find obviously under the same section instruction. You can see here. However, I did go to update, because in update to me is where Thorsten, which is the owner of the company, is put all the latest files. So this is where I went. I obviously have the TQ version 4, and so I went into here. If you have a different version, then you can go down, but you go here and you download. Now I did download the one that requires SIM connect, because you want to connect to PMDG. If you don't have PMDG, you can download the other ones. Not sure what's the difference between the two, but I download this one because it works quite good for everything. The other files that you need to download is this VJoy RAR, which is basically the drivers that power everything. And this VJoy driver, you do find them under instruction. So you go in instruction and it's here. Okay, so you need to go a little bit around here in the website to find it. So you download this. Okay, so first thing you do, you simply unzip the VJoy and you install it. So the first things to do is to actually turn on the throttle quadrant. Make sure that everything is in zero position, so zero flaps all the way up, so there is no weird combination, weird switch to on. So I'm gonna. And there is, if you remember from the first video, I did mention there was a red button. I didn't know what it was. Actually, it's to turn on the throttle, so I figured out myself. So, okay, so this is the standard, obviously illuminated. We have the parking brake set, everything zero. So that's the first things to do. Now going back to the software. So we have, we need to open the file that we just installed. Sorry. Okay. So actually no. This is very important to show. As you can see, for some reason, I don't know why, it doesn't operate, because it says that it could be a virus or something. I'm not sure. I think because it's trying to change something within the driver and is communicating, and thinks that it's a virus. So if that happens, which is quite annoying to be honest, so what you have to do is to go into this security, go there, manage setting, real-time protection. So just put it off for the moment be. I'll try to find a solution how to keep it on and still work, but at the moment, let me turn off this this email, which is also okay. So you put it there. Now it should work. Okay, so if that happens, just do that. So you turn it on, and this is what happened. It will tell you the throttle quadrant will now be calibrated. The trim wheel and levers will move during calibration. Please don't touch them. This will be done once in startup with this console. So my understanding is that every time you open for the first time, it will self-calibrate itself. I thought it was gonna do only once, but to me it does this every time I turn it on. It takes only a couple of seconds, so you just say understood. And because it's already pre-calibrated as before, it doesn't do much movement. The very first time that I did, you can see that this was moving automatically, that the lever was moving, the trim wheel was moving. So at the moment the message appears, you say it's okay, but I think because it found it's already calibrated, it goes into the state ready. So it shows you ready. This value that you see here is actually the value of your thing. So if I move this, for example, you can see the throttle 1 level moving, and so forth. So you can actually calibrate manually if you want. So I go there and then down, and then if I open the flaps, you can see here flaps 1, flaps 2, and so forth. Okay. Okay. So obviously you don't have to touch this. This is for the parking brake, the toggle switch, and so forth and so forth. You don't have to touch anything. Now if you want to actually test also this, you can do into TQ calibration. If you press it, I'm not gonna do it because I think it will screw up on my calibration already done. But if you do it, there will also be here some sort of push button that you can test the parking brake, the speed lever, speed brake, and so forth. Okay. Now next step. Make sure that it says ready, make sure that it shows exactly the version that you have, and also make sure that it shows the correct version number, firmware number. Sometimes if you have to communicate with Torsten, it will ask you the firmware number, and that's where you can get it from. Okay, so everything else you don't have to touch anything. You got some TQ option here, TCP, UDP. If UDP doesn't work, switch to TCP. Play trim sound when trimming, and it also tells you what it is. If you want to play a sound when trim is active, check the box here. So I'll check if I want. Adjust state of plane. If you want the battery status of the aircraft, also control the parking brake light, you can check the box here. I mean, this is to make it more realistic. I think if the battery is obviously is off, the control parking brake light. So basically what it means is that if the battery is not charging, if it's off, the lights of the parking brake is off. Is that the correct way or not? I don't know. I need to double check with the real plane if that's correct. If you have the everything off, if I remember, the parking brake lights still show that it's on, just like the clock is still on. Anyway, you can choose whatever you want to do it. Okay, manual trim disconnect operator. So I don't want to go into what this. You just go into and you can have all the options that you want. Okay. So you don't have to do anything here. All you have to do is to connect, and now you see that it's connected to Prepare 3D. That's because we already have Prepare 3D on. If it was off, it will just say it's not found. Okay, so that's not a problem. It means that it's just not connected. Once you connect it, then it will go into directly Prepare 3D. Now, the next thing you need to do is, before everything, is to go to your is this one? Yes, go to your Prepare 3D version 5 PMDG and the 737 folder, and here you will see option .ini. Okay, so this is the configuration setting. In order for the throttle to work, you need to open this, scroll all the way down, and here you need to enable, you need to type SDK enable data broadcast equal 1. That's all you need. If you don't put this, it's not gonna work. So make sure that you put, and actually it says in the manual, if you go into the manual, it will tell you towards the end, right in the end of the text following this. Okay, so you can find that. That's for communication. Alright, so these other two you will have to put when you do the CDU, but at the moment don't worry about that, just this, okay? Then obviously you file, you save, and exit. So make sure that you do that, don't forget, because it's a silly mistake to make, to forget that and everything else doesn't work. Okay, we can close this. The next things you need to do is to now finally, we can minimize this, don't close this, it's important that it's on when you use it. The next thing we need to do is to open ProSim. Now ProSim, when you open, if you remember the VJ driver that you have to install, so this VJoy setup, once you install that with the software, then ProSim will communicate automatically, and it will show it here as VJoy device. Okay, and it doesn't show here, but it says available with 2 device direct input. So VJoy device, it will show. In order to show that, also make sure that you go into drivers, and you have to go into what is it? Generic COM port TCP driver. Okay, so if this is not enabled, you're probably not gonna see VJoy device. So you need to enable that, and then click on advanced. This window appears. This you don't need to change, this you don't need to change, don't need to change this, don't need to change that. Okay, so leave everything exactly as it is. The TC port, I think you also don't need to change. The only things you need to change is the operation mode. By default, the operation mode I think is manually configure elements. You need to move to mixed. Okay, once you mix, you do OK, you press OK again. ProSim will restart, and it will show you again here the VJoy device. The last part to do, following the manual, and I need to read it because I don't remember absolutely everything, but we're pretty much there. Okay. Oh, okay. So one thing is that I haven't done it, but specifically for the throttle quadrant, the manual asks you to set up the trim into the FSU PC. Okay, so I don't want to go through, but basically you follow the manual. You go FSU PC, select the button and switches, then you go into yokes, you press the nose up and down, you give some value here, you press OK, save the changes, and it works. Okay, I haven't done that yet because it works, but then I remove it because it was giving me some slight problems, so I need to figure out what it is. By the moment, follow this because it will work. Okay. Remember also, okay, it's showing FS axis here. Maybe this was written, I think, 2016, version 2017. Okay, but Prepare 3D was already there. Anyway, so I use Prepare 3D, but it's the same things. Make sure that you don't have enable control. So I'm gonna show again what I mean by that. If you go to Option in Control, you wanna make sure that in the other control this is disable, and you also want to make sure that for the axis there is nothing, everything is delete. You need to delete all the key assignments when it comes to obviously the certain controller. If the assignments are for the view, you can still keep it, but for the rest, please delete all the assignments, axis assign delete. Otherwise, again, it will give you some problem with the input. So that's what it says, the manual here. Make sure that you delete all the assignments. You need to go into ProSim, and it says here that you have to go into configuration. So obviously we are talking about the drivers, sorry, combination drivers, and you search speed brake. Okay, and obviously you go to the throttle, because that's where the throttle we are gonna look, and we're gonna look at the lever. Okay, so for speed brake configuration, you just follow exactly what the manual tells you to do. You select the generic driver TP. Now don't get confused that just because you have the VJoy device, you have to select that. Select the generic driver TCP. You need to put a name A_speed brake or capital. This one stays not connected, and then you need to calibrate minimum up. Already done it, but you need to calibrate set down, set arm, and set up. So basically you put all the way down and you press set down, then you put armed, and as you can see there, it moved a little bit, and you set arm, and then you put all the way up, and for some reason it shows up on a different level. So do you know what, let's calibrate here live. Let's do it again. Maybe something was not done correctly. So set down, and I put set down, I put hard. So make sure pretty much the position of hard, and then I set R, and then all the way up. Okay. Now I'll do this null zone set. I just want to make sure that at the moment it's okay. Null zone I don't want to do at the moment. And then you press OK. Then you put this back. Okay, so next things to do is actually I'm in England, let's choose British Airways, come on, why not? Okay, as you can see, you don't have a real copy for the flight visual of Prosimo, because in reality the copy will be like that. So I'm gonna start the engine automatically with the control here. But in the real, once the simulator is complete, obviously everything will be connected. Okay, so I'll wait until all the motor turn on, and then we can test this. I can show you from outside. I think that would be the best view. I don't have a joystick with me, so I'm in a little bit. Believe it or not, I don't have a joystick because we have another computer in the house, and my son is playing X-Plane there, so he needed a joystick. So I need to. I'm left without. Anyway, I think let's see if the motor. I think they're all okay. The other one still have to start up. Everything it's okay. We are at the runway 31 of Brindisi Airport in Puglia, my hometown. Why British Airways in Italy? I don't know. Why not? It's a simulator. So let's go into. First of all, I wanna show you how everything works. So you can see in the screen now the simulator versus the throttle. So first of all, we have the brake, parking brake, which now I just released. We can test the speed brake. So if I open this, the speed brakes goes up and so forth. If I open the flaps, you can see that, for example, if I put flaps 30, the flaps slowly, if you can actually, I don't know if there is a wing view. Okay, anyway, you can see that they're going down. Now for takeoff we don't need that, we'll probably need either 10 or 5. I'll go for 5. So you can put you can see here they're closing back here. Now I'm not gonna go full circuit. I just wanna show you the takeoff. Sorry, the max power, and then we are gonna do our eject takeoff, and I'm gonna use the speed brakes. At the moment the toga is not connected because I do have the Sysmo module connected. In order to connect the toga I need to go do a little bit of tweak, so I cannot demonstrate you this now, but it does work. I test, everything is fine now. For the moment it's just to show you how everything is connected and works. So let's turn on the sound because I want you to hear a little bit of the spooling off. Okay, here we go. Okay, so despite the obviously I don't have a joystick at the moment, so it was a little bit difficult to stay on the runway, but it's okay. So what can we see from that? First of all, the deployment for the speed brake is stop a flight in detent. It should go all the way to up. The flight detent is when you are in flight and you wanna deploy the spoiler for reducing the speed, so it will not allow you to go all the way up. You can only go up to flight detent. I think for the eject takeoff, it should go all the way up. I need to double check that. Before it did, this time it stopped in flight detent. I think it's something to do with again with the calibration. I need to look into that. What else? Obviously the flaps works fine, and so as you can see I can only stop up to flight detent. There is actually a mechanic brake there that doesn't allow me to go all the way up, so I need to check that. So this is it. So the idea is that that's how you connect. So the power, the Ethernet, make sure that everything is under the same internet, and then install the driver, follow the manual of copy for you, ensuring that everything is done according to the manual, even if it seems something like you know, well, can I change the folder name stuff? I suggest you to follow the manual. The rest in ProSim, it's all about calibration, so I'm sure there is something to do with calibration that didn't allow me to go all the way up. When we tested it did work, but when I did reject takeoff didn't. Although I did discover a lot of times that there was nothing to do with the product or ProSim, it was actually how the real plane operates. A double need to check. I'm pretty sure when you reject takeoff, the speed brake will go all the way up because you want to maximum reject power. Nevertheless, everything else works. The motors, the fire detection, all the rest of the switch, the toggle, it will be tested when we have everything connected. One thing that I did discover is that you can test as much as you can piece by piece, but in order to test the full functionality, the module have to be connected correctly. At the moment I'm trying to test one by one instead of all together, so because they all communicate each other depending on the variable from one module to another one. Of course the throttle sometimes, or the MCP or the MIP doesn't know what to do, and install it doesn't work very much, but when you connect everything it will work for sure, and we can show that during our very first flight test. Okay, that's all from our simulation. Next time we will test the MIP, MCP and the two IFEs. Ok, until the next, ciao, alla prossima.